Yo bros, and welcome to a Minecraft tutorial video. Woo! We're back finally with a video. Today we're going to be talking about Greek temples, and specifically how to build them in Minecraft. I do want to preface this by saying this is not going to be a block by block tutorial. This is not the Greek temple we're going to be building. This is just kind of some, just the creative testing world where I was just trying to practice some ideas, and before the video just to make sure I had something. But really, I want to talk about how to build these Greek temples, and specifically through, well, this rain is not helpful. I'm going to get this. Whoa! Thunder! Yes, I want to give a tutorial and basically give sort of an outline of how Greek temples actually are constructed in plan and through section to really give you a guideline to create your own Greek temples that are sort of accurate to real life, and that will sort of begin to look like real life. This is just kind of some, again, just a bunch of different testing, a bunch of different blocks and stuff. So we're actually going to quit this, and we're going to go start a new world. So, while that's loading up, the first thing I want to talk about is the plan of the Greek temple. This is really how you want to build this to start, by just building like one block at a time, kind of on the lower layer. And yeah, this is probably a really good outline for how to do that. So let's kind of go over this a little bit. So you have the sort of stepping up thing. So you kind of see that you have these sort of steps leading up to it. That's kind of like the base, and that's kind of where you're going to start, and with the square. The other thing you really have to plan out, really importantly, is these columns, because that's obviously the main part of the project. And once you sort of plan it out and plan, it's pretty easy to sort of understand what it's going to look like when it goes up. So we're going to start with that and kind of creating sort of a colonnade here that like sort of resembles something like this. So we can't use marble, but we're going to use these blocks. I just took a bunch of quartz and a bunch of sandstone. Again, not a block by block tutorial, so please don't expect, you don't actually have to get these blocks. But these are just some ideas of blocks that you could use for your project. Feel free to swap them out for anything else. So remember that plan. I'm going to start with kind of just laying out some columns here. You can probably either go, this is actually a really important step for the actual thing, the first step actually, how wide you want to make these actual columns. Because you can make it sort of 1 by 1 tall, and that's probably what we're going to do now. But you can also go 2 by 2 like this. And that actually can allow you to make more detailed columns. You can imagine, the sort of bottom being like this, and it kind of maybe looks more like that, or maybe rounding it off. And it kind of looks more like a column. However, I think that honestly looks a little bit too big and kind of clunky for Minecraft, and I don't think it looks as nice. So I'm just going to go with single block columns for now. Another decision we can make is you can have a 2 space or a 3 space. It just kind of depends on the size. If you're making a smaller tower or a smaller temple, it may make more sense to have it be 2. But for this one, since it's pretty big, we're gonna go with a 3 space. And then going on kind of the picture, we're gonna go with a 6 by 13 with the columns. So let's start with the 6. So 1, 2, 3, with the 3 space in the middle. 3 in the middle here again. 3 in the middle, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, 3. So then we have 6 columns here on the front with 3 spaces in between them. Again, this does not have to be the same number that you do, depending on the area that you're building in, because you might not be in a super flat area, so you might not have the space, or you may have more space, or you want to build bigger. The thing that you should keep in mind is that you probably want to have a middle somewhere in here. It's nice to have it between 2 columns like this, because it's kind of like the main entrance. So I just recommend having that. And then on the sides here, we're going to do 13. So we're going to do this again. So 3 space in between. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh, 13. Don't do what I did. I almost forgot the number 11. So yeah, so this is basically the like how big this is going to be, and you can kind of imagine how big this is going to be. This is where you can sort of decide your size. This is the size we're going to go with. You kind of want to have this sort of rectangular shape. So let me just really quickly fill the rest of these in. Alright, so now that we have that, another thing you'll notice on the plan here are these sort of rectangles that surround the columns. These are the stereobate and stylobite, which are basically these sort of steps leading up to the temple that really act as the base of the temple and kind of give it that sort of grand feeling. So if you're doing this in survival, You can probably get away with only using one layer of stairs around. Since quartz is usually kind of expensive and maybe you don't want to do that. But since we're in creative and we want this thing to look really cool, we're going to use 2 layers. Alright, so we're going to start the outer layer 1 block away from the columns we've made. Just like that. And then we're going to have the next layer in between those. Just 1 up, as you'd expect. You may want to build this below the column layer. But for now, we're just going to raise these columns up. Just like that. Alright, so it's going to look sort of like this. So it may actually make sense to have your columns up 2 blocks so it starts on this level since this is going to be underground. So again, just another survival tip, so just keep that in mind. And then basically this is just going to go all the way around. This is another area you have to, you have some room for creativity. You can only do it on the front. You can do whatever you want. So I'm going to do this around like this. Be back in a sec. Alright, so now that we have that, now we have the stereo bait and the stereo bait set up. This is basically the base, and this is basically the pedestal that it sort of rests on. You can kind of see that in the background a little bit there. But yeah, this is being the main pedestal that your building sits on, and this is going to really give it that authentic feel. So moving on, we're still missing the middle part here of the plan. So we're also going to add the cella and the porches that are shown in the picture. One of the reasons is because it's going to make this thing look more realistic, and it's going to give it more of like a stronger, it's going to look more like a building instead of like a see-through thing. But also, this space and the real temples are the most sacred and the most protected spaces, so this could be where, a base could go if you're building this in survival, or like a storage room. The Parthenon was actually used as a treasury, so that wouldn't really be that crazy to do that, so there you go. So we're going to do that now. It's probably going to be up higher, but we're just going to build it on this kind of the same kind of ground level. So we're going to go kind of 2 away. Oops, let me not use that block actually. We're going to go there, and then we're going to sort of basically follow the same column line and keep it on the same sort of grid, if you see what I'm saying. So same with the 3 center space, and basically do the same sort of thing as you did here. Now we're going to do the same on the other side as well. So we're just going to come over here, do that, and then just for future design, we're gonna make this wall look nice. We're gonna continue this on the walls here. So keep the pillars kind of going like that, and then we're gonna do it on the same on this side. Okay, so now that we have that, I'm actually going to fill in the base here. Before I fill in these walls here, I kind of really probably should have done this earlier, because again, these blocks aren't going to be at this level; they're going to be a little higher up. So I'm just going to really quickly fill this in. For this, I'm just going to use blocks of quartz, I think. Okay, yeah, so I'm going to use these basic kind of quartz blocks. They kind of have this nice sort of tile look. And I'm just going to do that and fill that in all the way around. And then I'm going to raise the columns up as well. So I'll be back in 1 second. Okay, so now we're back to where we are, and we're just going to fill in these walls where the cell is going to be. I'm just going to use quartz bricks just because it kind of has that sort of, I don't know, I think it looks nice. And we're going to do like that. If they had a sort of quartz wall, I'd probably use that instead just to make it look a little bit thinner. And that would add a little more depth, but there is no quartz walls yet, so we're just going to keep it like this, and we're just going to continue doing the plan here. Alright, so we'll make the porches, so we'll just do it on the line up with the column layer behind it. And then we'll fill in these just like that. And these will be sort of like entrances, and do the same on this side. So we're going to go 4 blocks in right here, basically in line with the grid. Kind of keeping this, keeping the same kind of proportions and stuff like that, keeping it pretty square. So this is the plan we have so far. This is kind of looking like what the picture is looking like a little bit. Alright, so now it's time to go vertical with this thing. And we're going to start with the columns and building them up. So in Greek architecture, there are 3 different types of columns and styles, really. There's Doric, Ionic, and Corinthian. I think Doric lends itself best to Minecraft since there is no base, and the capital really isn't as detailed as the Ionic and Corinthian ones are. So the columns are pretty, straightforward. So the way we build them is we're just gonna go 10 blocks up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. These columns are about 10 meters tall, so it's about roughly the same size. And then at the top here, we're gonna have the capital, which is sort of the top of the column, and we're basically gonna wrap upside down staircases around that, just like that. So that's the first column, and we're basically gonna do that everywhere you see a column. Just want to mention, it does not have to be this high. Again, depending on the scale of your build, you know, you may want to have it different heights to make it look proportional. I think just going by just the kind of realistic proportions of this kind of proportion, I think 10 work pretty well. So, but yeah, feel free to adjust that as you see fit. Alright, now that you've done all the outer columns, guess what? You gotta do these columns too, baby. Alright, so these columns will be part of the cellar wall, so we don't have to add the capitals to them where the walls are going to be. Like this, build these walls up. We're just going to add some more texture in the walls. Just because I'm choosing to use all white, you don't have to, but I'm using all white, and so in order to kind of create texture in the wall, you have to use kind of different blocks and such. So we'll do that, and then we'll add these columns in right here, like that. And then we'll do it on this side as well. And then we'll raise these columns up as well. Yeah, so we don't need these ones on these because these can be walls as well. So now let's take back, see what we're doing here. So, alright, starting to look pretty good, I think. Starting to look more like the one over there in the distance. Still not quite there though. We gotta fill in these walls real quick in the cellar. So, for this, I'm just going to be using, let's use the normal quartz blocks again. Let's see what that looks like. And of course, we're not rid of this. And then for the top layer, we'll go back with the bricks, like that. How does that look? You know, maybe you go crazy too. You could have like some chiseled, something like that. Yeah, but you can come up with kind of your own little wall design here. For this build though, I think we'll just kind of keep it simple. So we'll have it like that. So this build, we'll build quartz blocks in, like all the way. Okay, so I actually made a mistake. We're actually gonna make this inner layer right here because it lines up with the column. We're just gonna make these also columns like that. So sorry about that. Again, these are optional for the interior. Alright, so now you should have something that looks like this. So this is probably a good place to stop on the cellar, and we're going to start to work on, you know, the top part of the temple here. And we're going to start first by building the sort of layers that come before that. So if we look at a section real quick, you'll notice that above the columns and below the triangular piece called the pediment, there are two different layers. One, the architrave, and then the frieze. The architrave are the beams that kind of go across the columns, and then right above that is the frieze, where the triglyphs and sculptural pieces come in. There's also the cornice that kind of sticks out above that. And so we're going to start with the architrave, which is the smooth part we see, and we're probably going to use smooth quartz blocks, just because it kind of has that same kind of look. And we're going to build it like right above where the kind of the grid is, all right? And we're just going to build that all the way around. So right above the architrave, we're going to try to create the frieze, which is the sculptural part. And we're going to add a little triglyphs by adding little column blocks. So we'll do that every other block. And then in between those, we'll use, you could use chiseled, or maybe, let's see what quartz bricks looks like. That's tough. I think we're going to go with chiseled for this. But again, you can do kind of whatever you want. So we're going to go every other block chiseled, and then every other block a column, or the pillar block, I should say. Okay, sweet. So now we have that layer around. And just to make this a little bit more detailed, we're actually gonna add a layer of slabs on the sort of the bottom half of this layer. So like this, we'll have some blocks. Oops, not like that though. We're gonna have these blocks going all the way across like that, and don't miss the spaces. And so now again, we're gonna do this all the way around. So we'll build this bottom layer. Okay, so now that we have the sort of bottom layer, we're going to build the next layer of slabs on this block, which is the top half of these kind of sculptural blocks, and we're going to build it like that. And what we're also going to do is we're going to, every other block, kind of where the column is starting, we're going to build up on these blocks. So we're going to go like that. Let's actually do this first. Okay, so now that we have that, now let's layer this top layer all the way around as well. And you can do this kind of at the same time if you'd like as the bottom layer, but I'm just doing like this. Okay, so now we have something like this, and this is looking kind of good. So we're going to raise, from this corner, we're going to put a slab here, and we're going to start the pediment now, aka the roof, which you can kind of see in the background there. So we're going to go one block up on this corner, two slabs up on this block, so a full block. And then the top half of that, we're going to start building basically blocks of 2 half slabs. And we're going to build this all the way up diagonally up until we get to the middle, which we should have an easy middle, which is why it's nice to have a 3 system, which is right there. Yep, so that's the middle. So we're going to do this on the other side as well. So we're going to go 1 block up, 2 blocks up like that, and then on the top half of that, we're going to start building diagonally up. Here I'm just using smooth quartz. I think it's a decent block. But yeah, so now here we have the pediment. And now this is really starting to look like a Greek temple. It's really starting to get the feeling. And probably a good step to do actually now also is to just back up this wall and give it sort of a background. I'm just going to use chisel quartz just to kind of give it like a structural, or more of a sculptural look, since this is kind of like where the sculptural pieces of the temple kind of are. You can see a lot of like cool designs and intricate stuff. So we're going to do that, but you can use any other block, it doesn't really matter, because we're going to be covering this up anyways. And what we're going to do now is we're going to kind of add our statues in this. So I would just use the sort of the smooth, like this, basically any stairs and slab, and just kind of go crazy a little bit, build maybe like a random pattern. We'll do something like this. We'll do something like a, I don't know, like a radiating thing. So we'll do something like that. I don't know. We'll just do that. All right, there we go. So that's a sculpture, Actually, no. This looks too much like a face. I'm gonna change that. There we go. So now this is looking better. This is looking like kind of sculptural and interesting. And again, it doesn't really matter what it is. It's kind of just random. On this other build over here, actually. And so yeah, so this one is a little bit different. It's kind of like the radiating idea, but it's a little bit, I think, better done. And then we go around to the other side. You can see a different sort of frieze. This is kind of maybe more similar to what we built, but this is just, again, another really random pattern of sculpture. It doesn't really matter what it looks like. Now here comes a major decision for you guys, is the roof color material. I think red sandstone is actually a pretty nice block. I don't know why, the red and the white kind of really look nice together. If you notice in the other build, I actually used copper, and I think that also looks pretty nice. It's kind of a similar thing. And let's see, for this build, what am I going to use? I think for this build we're actually going to use the copper. I don't know, I just kind of like the look of it. It has like that sort of a nice tile look that I'm kind of going for. You could wax this if you don't want it to rust, because it will kind of oxidize, I should say, and turn blue. I think that actually might look kind of cool, to be honest, but you know, you do whatever looks best for you. So we're gonna do that. But actually, really quickly, before we extend this out, I want to do the little statues that you may have noticed on the sort of the corners. So we're gonna get rid of this slab right there. We're gonna build 2 temporary blocks up like that, and then put an upside down staircase like that. Okay, and then we're gonna do that there. We're going to do it on this little piece right there on the top, and then we're going to do it on this corner as well. And then eventually, obviously, we're going to copy this to the other side. But before we get there, let's start the roof a little bit. So I'm going to time-lapse that and get the roof kind of all the way across. Be right back. And actually, while you're up here, it may be a good idea to do the... Oh, wait, hold on. I have to go more block. Here we go. It may be a good idea to do the upside down staircase thing, just while you're up here. And then we're going to go down. Okay, so now we have the backdrop, and then we'll do another kind of pattern here. I don't know, let's do... I want to drill like a central figure, maybe like... I don't know, like another guy. This could be someone else. Another god or something. Let's do that, and then we'll just kind of make them go smaller every time. Like that. Again, super kind of random. This guy is the holy, so he gets the little crown. Sure, why not? Let's go with that. We'll add another little stair in the corner. Again, just go crazy with it. Let me add something in this right there between these two guys. I don't know, maybe they're in love. Alright, nice. See, look at that. A little sculpture. And now I'm going to continue the roof all over. Alright, so now that we're done with that, whew, take a breath, we're good. Alright, so now that we have another big decision to make. You can either continue this layer in copper and make this kind of all the way like that, or the smooth redstone, or even like any sort of wood, if you're interested in that. I think wood could also look really nice. But instead of that, instead of continuing that all the way across, like making this one continuous thing, I'm actually going to make it smooth quartz again. I think this will just make it look a little nice and just kind of add it a little... It'll add a little structure to it. Try not to break the blocks, the roof, while you're walking on it. It's not super useful. But yeah, so we're going to build this little thing across, just like that. Alright. So now your temple's starting to look like this. Now this is looking nice. This looks like a real temple, in my opinion. Oh yeah, shaders, this thing's looking sweet. Again, you see the other one in the background there trying to load in. Yeah, this is looking, I think this is looking really nice. And then kind of approaching into it. So that we can work on the interior a little bit more here. But right now it's looking like this, a little bit bland. So yeah, let's work on the interior real quick. And, you know, most of these, we're just going to kind of continue the grid, I think. So we're just going to connect these kind of blocks up. We're going to continue slabs where the stairs are. Just like that. I think this is going to look nice. So we're going to do like this, continuing the slabs, basically taking advantage of the grid system that we have. That's what I'd recommend too if you decide to freestyle. Take advantage of that grid, and that's going to make it look very, very nice. We'll do that, and then we'll continue right through these as well. All right, so now you got something kind of like this, and then we're going to continue the same over here actually as well. Put stairs on there. We'll connect these up. We'll connect these up. And yeah, I think to start, we're basically just going to do this all the way around. I'll ignore this for now actually. Just making this a nice little grid. And let's do that. So let's do that all the way around here. Oops, and I forgot to fill in this little section, so let me just do that real quick. Okay, so yeah, so now that we have this grid pattern set up, you can kind of go crazy with this. So you could like go, you know, like blue concrete or like whatever your kind of colors are. Like that could be sort of interesting. I don't know, maybe having it like that or something. I don't know. I'm not going to do that for this. I'm going to keep it kind of really simple. We're just going to keep using quartz. Actually, let's look what concrete looks like. White concrete, because that might actually look nice having a different kind of color. Let's see how that looks. Let's do this part of the section in white. Alright, so now we can see this is how white concrete would look. It's a little bit bland. Let me see if we can add some. Can we add like a lantern or something to it? A sea lantern maybe? Actually, let me use what is that called? Glow shroom or shroomberry? Oh god. Okay, yeah, this light. Shroom light. Let's add some shroom lights to this. In the middle. It's kind of like a lighting system. So then, I don't know. This is kind of, it doesn't look that good, honestly, to be completely honest with you guys. But, you know, you can kind of go crazy with this. Experiment a little bit. I'm going to really quickly, I'm going to do that. Let's try this instead. I don't know, like that looks kind of interesting. Okay, so yeah, we'll just go with the white concrete for this build. But like again, go crazy with it. Like don't be limited by me what I do. I mean chiseled could look. Let's just try chiseled real quick, just for giggles. I mean that looks really nice. And then if you make that a slab or something, like that looks pretty cool. I can see how that would fit in. But for now, we'll go with the white concrete. I kind of like the blue. I think. Like to put a bluish tint and hue of that. It kind of makes it look kind of nice and add some color. We could do something kind of crazy like this. What if you added like a lantern? Oh, that looks kind of nice. Yeah, something like that. That could look kind of cool, like adding some lights like that. Go crazy with is what I'm trying to say. Incorporating lighting into this is something I struggle with, so that's why I'm not doing a very good job of it. So if you guys have any like suggestions in the comments, feel free to drop them in there. Okay, great. So now that we have that, let's just times that to 0. I would recommend adding some sort of lighting system, whether it's like that or whether it's just literally just adding torches to the ground. I think honestly they look fine as well. So now when we get to the interior, we're gonna actually make this a little bit different. Let's add some torches again. Just to light this boy up a little bit. Can't really see anything. Alright. So now, as I mentioned before, this is the cella space. So this is like the most sort of like important part of the temple. So this is like where your cool stuff's going to go. And so we're also going to do that by making the roof a little bit taller as well. We're going to do something like this. And we're going to raise it all the way to the roof. Let's just raise the columns all the way to the roof for now. On the outer edge. Alright, so now you have something like that. And then if you really wanted to, you could actually just open this entire thing up. And if you want to make like an elytra entrance, that could actually be really awesome to do that. I think we'll keep it enclosed for now. So let's just do it like this. We'll just bring the white concrete up from this, or whatever block you're using here. Alright, so we can fill that white concrete in just like that, actually, just for now. Can I fill that block in? Alright. So let's see. All right, so then yeah, so we're gonna do like that. So you have the columns like that, and then on the top half of that, we're gonna build slabs all the way across. So the top half of that, and then same thing with the other side. Top half of the blocks. And then we'll connect them on either side, so we can get rid of those blocks actually. And then now again, we have an opportunity to make another roof color. I'll just keep going with the white concrete, and then we'll build this guy up right up to there, and then we'll add our slabs just like that. So now that's the first part of the roof. It's one part of it, and now we're also gonna get rid of these blocks because we're gonna build this roof at this level now. Okay, so now we got that, and then we'll build the second part of the roof. Cool. We'll do the same on this side, so just above the layer where the slabs are, we can just build our decoration block, our background block of the interior. Okay, and then underneath this, I would just place a slab like that. Oh, can't even see anymore. Yeah, so build a slab layer like that, so it's like a full block basically. I think how we also want to do this too is we're going to build a cross like this, and then we'll do something like that. That way it's like kind of like holding it almost. And we'll build this across like that. All right, so yeah, we're gonna build a pattern like this. I lied. So get rid of that. Sorry. So we're gonna have the 3 bottom slabs like that, where the columns are, have a stair like that, and then slabs like that, and then a stair like that. And then we're going to do this on all of them here. I think this will just give it a nice, it'll just kind of make it look, kind of go along with the grid a little better. And I think it'll just look nicer, to be honest. So let's just... Okay, so that's something. I don't know. What do you guys think of that? It looks kind of weird. Maybe let's add, we'll add some statues like that. So let's add some detail. These aren't really statues, but they're kind of statues. Kind of. It'll look like statues, I think. Yeah, you know, just adding some detail, some stuff like that. This guy can have head like that. And then, wait, do they all have heads? Okay. So let's do something like that now. So let's do something like this for you know, for some skeletons, or not skeletons, what am I saying? Jeez. Statues. Just have them alternate every other. And then like this one could be, I don't know, just something. Something like that. Oh wait, let's do that. Something like that. And then none. Just look at that. You gotta have you have a nice little space. Let me add this guy across over here as well. Wait, I have no idea how I built that now. I think it was something like that, right? Close enough. All right. So yeah. So this is it. This is a build right here. Don't miss that block. You probably want to add some lighting. So maybe a sea lantern would actually look nicer. If you don't have access to that, sorry, pal. No, I was kidding. Yeah, this actually looks a lot nicer because it's kind of like the same kind of bluish tone. All right, so yeah, here you go. So this is your little base. You know, you put some chests. Let's see. Get some chests down, you know. No, I was kidding. Yeah. So yeah, this is the little central area. You can kind of make this into a base, whatever. Go crazy with it. I'm excited to see what you guys do. But yeah, this has been this build so far. Let me know what you guys think. Let me get this into not sunset, even though it's golden hour, you know, or golden light. Let's do that, and then we're gonna change it to a shader just to make this look a lot nicer. All right, wow, look at that. Ignore that guy in the background. This is looking good, man. I think it looks pretty good. Minus the little asymmetrical lighting right there. Let's get rid of this real quick. Let's just not do this. Don't mind if I just swoop on in. So yeah, so this is the build. This is the Greek temple. Yeah. So yeah, this is it. This is the Greek temple. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. This is pretty nice, I think. I think it's turned out really well. Let's take a little view through here on the other side. With the shader on, it makes everything look nicer, you know? The hall. This gigantic room. You could put like a statue or something here, or like, you know, as mentioned before, you could put a base. But yeah, I think this is looking great. This is a nice little build. So yeah, leave a comment down below. Like, favorite, subscribe. Let me know if you guys what next tutorial I should make. And yeah, thank you for watching.